Most important thing before I really dive into fat burners, I cannot stress enough that fat burners are not the first way to go. So you really need to make sure you're eating properly, you're working out, you're getting activity in. Once you're doing all of those other things, that's when you need that little extra. If it's for a special occasion, you're going on a trip, whatever it is, you have that special little, this is a short-term quick fix kind of supplement. So if you're just getting started and you want to see some results, start moving, clean up what you're eating, and you will see some results. That is the first step. I am not a big fan of like fat burners. I'm not one that takes them all the time. I only take them for specific reasons. If I'm in prep and I'm doing a bodybuilding competition and I need to really get every little percentage of body fat matters, that's when I take it. Or I have a trip coming up. I'm leaving in a few days for Mexico, which is what kind of started this. So when I come back, I'm gonna finish the trials to give you guys the most objective feedback possible on these fat burner supplements, but I cannot stress enough, it's like trying to drive a car without putting gas in it. You're not gonna see anything happen. You probably won't see much for results if the only thing you are changing is adding this in, unless of course you are already putting the work in to get everything else. So if you've checked all the boxes, you've done all the other things that you can do to possibly see the best results, absolutely possible. That is where this is that next step, that final little edge just to get you somewhere. Now, if you want this, if this is gonna help you to be more consistent with your workouts and to be a little more strict or clean with your eating because you feel like you're putting something else in and you're putting that extra little something and it gives you that motivation to stay on track and to put a little extra work in, by all means. But again, these are not long-term supplements. The absolute max time you should be taking a fat burner is 12 weeks. That is the absolute max. For most people, 4, 6, 8 weeks is more around the kind of area you would be taking a fat burner. So keeping that in mind with this. But these are my trials, so I'm trying these out so that you can have some feedback if you wanted to take a fat burner. Okay, so stay tuned. I still got one more trial to go, but this is what week 2 looked like. Okay, so the second fat burner trial for the Believe energy+burner, done. Almost the same results. So I lost about 3 pounds, just over 3 pounds through the week. Again, on the weekends. The weekend was a long weekend, so also there was more drinking and eating than usual. So gained a little weight. That's okay. But the point is being as objective as possible throughout the week. So my week also taking into consideration, I had a little bit of a busier week than I did the week before. So my eating was a little bit different and stress levels were a little different. That can play a role. Everybody's different in terms of how they change how their body reacts to stress. Sometimes people eat more, some people eat less. I'm a little in the middle. Sometimes I eat more, sometimes I eat less. This was a week I actually ate less because I was busy and a little stressed. So I'm not sure if I want to take this week as my actual trial for this one because it was not the same as the week before. It was a little bit different. I still did the 5 days, even though it was a long weekend. I just did Tuesday to Saturday instead of Monday to Friday. But overall, very similar results. At this point, it would be more of a personal preference for things. So flavor obviously is one thing. They do have a lot of similar ingredients, so it makes sense that they would have a similar effect. However, I did find personally, again, this is my personal experience, I do have a little bit of a more sensitive stomach and a little more prone to heartburn and indigestion. So I did find I got heartburn with this one where I did not with the other one. Same effect in terms of like caffeine feeling. It was enough to make me feel like I had a little bit of caffeine in my system, but nothing crazy that I was like up into the roof with energy and then a crazy drop either. So it was a nice kind of sustained energy, nothing crazy, not super noticeable. So if you're sensitive to caffeine, it might not be too bad for you. But again, always try things out before you go all in, if you can. But heartburn and a little bit of stomach a little kind of like nauseous in the mornings, and I'm not sure if that was this, but this was the only thing that was really different. But again, I had a busier week, so my sleep was not as great, which can play a factor as well. So again, I don't know if this week was as objective, so it was a little bit different. I might do a second week with this one just to really be as objective as possible with these trials. So on that note, there is still one more to try. Those were the first two that were powder, so drinking them. I do have a third one that I'm going to be trying, which is a capsule version. So again, this comes back to personal preference, if you prefer to drink it in a powder form, or if you prefer the capsule form to just pop the pills and you're good. Again, this has some really interesting ingredients that are a little bit different, so I am intrigued to see how this one is going to play out. Now, I apologize. I want you guys to be a little patient because with these trials, I need to put the time and the work in. And I will not be here for an entire 5 days straight. So I'm going to be starting this capsule one when I come back. So next Tuesday will be day one. So I'm going to do a Tuesday to Saturday thing again. And then I will let you know how that one goes. But yeah, so stay tuned.